Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude Podcast. I'm your host, Nathan, just a guy trying to break down the world's biggest stories with a clear head and a laid-back vibe. We're diving into the top 10 news events from May 2nd to May 9th of 2025, and what a week it's been. From a historic Vatican election to global trade moves and understanding autism medically, there's a lot to uncover, so grab a drink, settle back, and let's unpack it all together. Here we go. Let's kick things off with a landmark moment from the Vatican. On May 8, 2025, Cardinal Robert Prevost, a Chicago native and missionary, was elected the first American pope, taking the name Pope Leo XIV. This is a big deal for the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Let's explore what this means. The conclave moved fast, wrapping up in just a day with white smoke signaling Prevost's election. He wasn't a top contender like Cardinals Parolin or Tagle, which makes this choice intriguing. Some experts, including Italian scholar Massimo Fagioli, suggest the Cardinals picked an American to balance the influence of the Trump administration, especially on social issues. The swift decision and unexpected pick have sparked plenty of speculation about the Vatican strategy. Prevost's story is compelling. Raised in Chicago, he spent decades in Peru and Latin America, earning a reputation as disciplined and devout. His brother, John Prevost, told ABC News about his organized nature, and back home in Illinois, locals are celebrating with pride, even putting up a billboard in Philadelphia. His social media post hints at progressive views on immigration and climate, which could clash with conservative U.S. policies. How he'll navigate these as Pope is anyone's guess at this point. This election is stirring debate. Some see it as a bold step to globalize the church, while others wonder if it's a calculated move to shape U.S. politics. Pope Leo XIV has a massive platform now, and the world's watching to see how he leads. What do you think, listeners? Is this a turning point for the Catholic Church? Let me know. Next, we're looking at rising tensions between India and Pakistan, two nuclear powers trading serious blows. On May 6th, India launched Operation Sindoor, striking targets in Pakistan after a terror attack in Pathankot killed 26 people on April 22nd. This is a volatile situation, so let's dive in. The conflict escalated quickly. On May 8th, Pakistan reportedly used drones and missiles in an overnight attack, prompting India to destroy an air defense system in Lahore. India claims it stopped Pakistan from hitting 15 sites and shot down 2 Pakistani jets. In response, Punjab shut down schools for 3 days, canceled police leaves, and airlines like Air India tightened security protocols. This isn't just rhetoric, it's a significant step up in the hostilities. Both nations are standing firm. India's Home Minister Amit Shah met with border officials while Pakistan acknowledges losses but isn't backing down. Global leaders are urging calm, but long-standing mistrust makes mediation tough. Social media shows civilian impacts, like homes destroyed in Uri by shelling, though both governments' narratives paint the other as the villain. Without independent verification, it's hard to separate fact from fiction here. This story has me thinking about the stakes. Nuclear powers clashing is no small thing, and miscalculations could spiral. The global economy is already on edge. Another hotspot could hurt. I'm skeptical of both sides' claims until clearer evidence emerges. What's your take? Is this a fleeting flare-up or a bigger threat? Share your thoughts with me on social media. Let's shift to trade, where President Trump's making waves again. On May 8th, he unveiled a new trade deal with the UK, calling it a major win since Liberation Day. With tariffs stirring global markets, this is worth a closer look. In 2024, the U.S. exported $79.9 billion in goods to the UK, while importing $68.1 billion. So Trump's pitching this deal to even things out. It comes as his administration rolls out steep tariffs, slowing cargo at ports like Los Angeles and Long Beach. The deal's framed as a counter to China's 125% tariffs on U.S. goods, though China's easing some of those restrictions silently. Economists and even Trump warn of economic turbulence if tariffs keep rising. The timing's notable. Trump's team, including Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Vice President Vance, hailed this as a diplomatic triumph. But critics call it more flash than substance. UK Ambassador Peter Mandelson was upbeat, yet specifics of the deal remain vague. Is this a real breakthrough or a distraction from tariff backlash? Port traffic's already down, and businesses are uneasy despite stable economic data for now. I'm excited about the potential for stronger US and UK ties, and this deal could be a great step forward if it comes with solid details to support the big promises. Trade wars can be tough on consumers, so I'm hopeful this agreement will bring some real benefits and prove to be a meaningful solution. What do you think? Will it stabilize markets or add to the chaos? Hit me up on X to let me know your thoughts. Continuing with Trump, he's stirring the pot with a bold budget plan. On May 2nd, he asked Congress to cut $163 billion from federal spending. That's a massive figure, so let's unpack it. White House Budget Director Russell Vought called current spending wasteful, targeting NGOs, higher education, and programs he says push radical gender and climate agendas. House Speaker Mike Johnson's on board, but a divided Congress means this will be a battle. Critics argue it slashes vital services, but without a detailed breakdown, it's tough to know exactly what's on the chopping block. This fits Trump's push to streamline the government, but it's raising concerns. Social programs, education, and climate initiatives could face cuts, which opponents see as an attack on progressive priorities. Supporters, though, frame it as reining in bloated bureaucracy. I'm fully supportive of trimming waste, and a $163 billion cut could be a fantastic opportunity to streamline government spending, especially if it targets inefficiencies tied to radical agendas as claimed. This has the potential to refocus government priorities in a meaningful way, paving the path for smarter resource use. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, listeners. Is this a brilliant fiscal strategy, or are there better ways to approach it? Let's head over to Moscow. Russia's Victory Day parade on May 9th celebrated 80 years since defeating Nazi Germany, but the guest list stole the spotlight. With Trump hinting at warmer US and Russia ties, American media like CBS News got rare access. So let's dive in. The parade is a major event showcasing tanks, missiles, and Russian pride. This year, Putin hosted Slovakia's Robert Fico and Serbia's Alexander Vučić, both EU skeptics, which ruffled feathers in Brussels for sure. A counter-parade in Ukraine drew EU ministers, underscoring Europe's divides. Putin's framing it as a show of strength despite the Ukraine war, and U.S. media presence suggest a shift in Trump's approach. The context here is key. Russia's still isolated by much of the West, but Trump's openness, perhaps a nod to practicality, has outlets like CBS reporting from Red Square. Critics fear this could embolden Putin, while supporters see it as a way to de-escalate tensions in that region. The time difference between Berlin's VE Day on May 8th and Moscow's on May 9th highlights how history still shapes geopolitics. I'm all for dialogue over conflict, but cozying up to Putin is tricky with Ukraine in the balance. Is Trump playing a long game or just making nice for the cameras? What do you think, folks? Next, let's talk about shopping, or rather, the lack of it. On May 2nd, Chinese e-commerce giant Temu stopped shipments to U.S. customers, citing uncertainty over Trump's tariff policies. This is hitting bargain hunters hard, so let's break it down. Temu's known for ultra-cheap goods, but with tariffs looming, they're pausing operations. NBC News tied this to a strong U.S. jobs report, which feels ironic when trade barriers are disrupting supply chains. Ports like Los Angeles are seeing less traffic, and Temu's move could drive up prices for everyday items. Shoppers are feeling the pinch in this escalating trade war. This is part of a broader U.S. and China standoff. China's hitting some U.S. goods with 125% tariffs while exempting others, playing a strategic game. Temu's halt might be a move to dodge new duties. On X, customers are venting, though some see this as a chance to support local businesses. It's a messy situation either way. I'm all in on the push for fair trade, and these tariffs could be a great way to level the playing field, encouraging us to support American businesses. Rising prices might be a small price to pay for strengthening our economy in the long run. Plus, most of the stuff sold on Temu is a joke anyway. We aren't missing much. What do you think, listeners? Are you ready to buy American and boost local industries, or do you prefer the convenience of cheap imports? Share your thoughts with me. Here's an odd one from May 2nd. A military helicopter got too close to Reagan National Airport, forcing planes to abort landings. It's a rare mix-up in D.C.'s tightly controlled airspace, so let's unpack this. NBC News called this a serious disruption near the Capitol. The chopper, part of a military operation, strayed into civilian flight paths, throwing air traffic control into a frenzy. No crashes occurred, but the incident's under FAA investigation. Details are scarce at this time, with national security cited as the reason, which isn't surprising, but leaves us with a lot of questions. This could be a simple mistake, but it's a big deal in a post-9/11 world where airspace security is paramount. Some on social media speculate about lax oversight, though there's no proof of that. Others note DC skies are a logistical nightmare juggling Pentagon, Secret Service, and civilian traffic. It's a wake-up call either way. I can only imagine the chaos in those cockpits. Errors happen, but this close to the White House feels like a red flag. Is this a one-time slip or a sign of bigger issues? What's your take? South America's in the spotlight this week in news as well. On May 7th, Colombia's top court ordered the arrest of former legislature presidents, rocking the political landscape. Reuters covered this, and it's a big shakeup, so let's dive in. The court's going after major figures, likely on corruption charges, though details are thin. This is part of a push to clean up Bogota's scandal-prone politics. The judiciary showing muscle, but it's also fueling tensions in a country grappling with economic struggles and a shaky peace deal. These arrests could change the game. The timing's critical. Colombia's government faces criticism for slow reforms, and this move could either restore faith or look like selective justice. On social media, some Colombians are cheering accountability, while others suspect political motives. Without public evidence, it's hard to tell if this is progress or posturing. I admire the boldness of targeting big names, but murky arrests raise red flags. Is Colombia cleaning house or settling scores? What do you think? Share your thoughts. Let's shift gears to the health story making waves in the U.S. On May 8, 2025, the National Institute of Health, or NIH, announced a partnership with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid to create a database of Americans with autism. It's a big move aimed at improving care, so let's take a closer look at this story. The idea is to gather data from insurance claims, medical records, and even smartwatch info to better understand autism across the country. NPR reported that this could help tailor treatments and support for millions of people, which is huge considering how diverse autism can be. The project's still in its early stages, but the goal is to spot patterns, like how different therapies work for different age groups, and make care more personalized. Now there's a flip side. Some folks are already raising concerns about privacy, wondering how secure all this data will be. It's a fair point, especially with health info, but the NIH says they're prioritizing safeguards to keep things confidential. I can see both sides. Better care is awesome, but no one wants their personal details floating around unsecured. This feels like a step forward if they get it right. Autism affects so many families, and anything that helps doctors understand it better could make a real difference. What do you think, listeners? Are you hopeful about this database, or does the privacy angle worry you? In our final story, Apple's in the hot seat. On May 9th, the New York Times revealed documents showing Apple commissioned a misleading report and misled courts to defend its App Store policies. This could shake up tech, so let's unpack it. The case centers on Apple's 30% cut of app purchases, which developers like Epic Games call monopolistic. New evidence suggests Apple manipulated data to justify its rules, and it's now appealing a ruling mandating App Store changes. This isn't just about apps, it's about who controls digital markets. A loss for Apple could mean cheaper apps and more competition. Apple's standing firm, though, with Senior VP Eddie Q even suggesting iPhones might not dominate forever. But consumers are stuck in the middle, wondering if prices will drop or legal costs will hit them. On X, developers are celebrating, but some worry about app ecosystem disruptions. It's really a high-stake fight. I love tech, but Apple's tight grip feels restrictive. This could spark innovation, but only if regulators get it right. What's your side? Team Apple or Team Open Market? Well, that's it for this week, folks. We've covered the top 10 stories from May 2nd to May 9th, 2025. From a new pope to trade deals, conflicts, and medical challenges. Thanks for joining me today on Just a Dude in the News. I hope I've shed some light on the world's chaos. If you've got thoughts or just want to chat, find me on all social media platforms or drop me an email. Subscribe, share, and keep questioning what you hear. This is Just a Dude Podcast, signing off. Catch you next time.